Her name was Jessica, 48 years old. It was the annual reunion with her college friends. The laughter was the same. The stories were the same. She smiled. She nodded. But inside was a quiet, aching hollowness. This feeling, the quiet loneliness that arrives in a room full of people you love. The strange grief for something you haven't technically lost. For millions of women in America after 40, this is a secret, confusing pain. You go home and you ask yourself, what is wrong with me? Why don't I feel the same way I used to? You tell yourself you've become a bad friend, or that the connection is simply gone forever. But what if that distance isn't a problem to be solved? What if it's a signal to be understood? What if the complexity you feel is not a failure of your friendship, but a sacred and necessary evolution of your own soul? This video is not about fixing friendships that feel broken. It is a compassionate guide to understanding why they change. To go from a place of quiet guilt to a place of profound self-acceptance. To see that this complication is not the end of connection. It is the beginning of a more authentic one. So let's talk about that hollowness, that feeling that something is off. To understand why friendships feel so complicated now, we first have to understand what they were built on then, in our 20s and 30s. The truth is, most of our early adult friendships were not primarily alliances of the soul. They were alliances of circumstance, alliances of survival. Carl Jung had a specific name for the foundation these friendships were built on. He called it the persona. Think of the persona as a uniform, a beautiful, well-fitting, and absolutely necessary suit of armor that we wear to navigate the world. It is the collection of roles we play: the good mother, the capable employee, the supportive wife, the fun friend. In the first half of life, the persona is not a lie. It is a crucial tool. It helps us fit in, build a career, raise a family, and create a stable identity in the world. And our friendships, they were often alliances of the persona. Think about it. When you were a young mother, you bonded with other young mothers. It was an alliance of the good mothers. You talked about sleep schedules, teething, and the best preschools. You didn't have time to talk about the existential ache in your heart. You needed to survive the day. And that friendship, that alliance, helped you do it. When you were climbing the corporate ladder, you bonded with other ambitious colleagues, an alliance of the capable employees. You talked about projects, promotions, and difficult bosses. That connection was real, it was valid, and it served a vital purpose. It was an ecosystem of shared roles, a beautiful one, a necessary one, and for a long time, it worked. And then you turn 40, then 45, and something begins to shift deep inside. Your soul, the true self that has been patiently waiting behind the uniform, starts to get tired. This is what we can call persona exhaustion. The suit of armor that once protected you now feels heavy, even suffocating. The roles that once defined you now feel like a cage. The energy it takes to be the ever-capable, ever-smiling, ever-supportive woman is no longer available. Your soul is starting to say, no more. I want to come out now. And this is where the complication begins. This is the earthquake that sends tremors through your friendships. The complication arises when your persona begins to fade, but your friend's persona is still firmly in place. You show up for coffee, and you want to talk about the strange emptiness you feel, the questions you have about the meaning of your life, and she wants to talk about kitchen renovations or her child's college applications. Her topic is not wrong, and your topic is also not wrong, but you are no longer speaking the same language. You have taken off your uniform, and she is still wearing it. And in that space between you, that awkward silence, that feeling of being unseen, that is where the loneliness lives. The friendship feels complicated because an unspoken energetic contract has expired. The alliance of the personas is over, and your soul is now asking for a different kind of connection, a connection not based on shared roles, but on shared vulnerability, not on doing, but on being. So when you feel that distance, that strange sense of talking to a stranger you have known for 20 years, I want you to remember this. It's not that your friendships are failing. Let me repeat that. Your friendships are not failing. Your soul is succeeding. It is succeeding in its most important task, to call you home to yourself. The complication you feel is the sound of your own becoming. It is the cracking of the shell that is no longer big enough to hold you. But this growth, this beautiful, necessary cracking, comes with a specific and often heartbreaking kind of grief. The grief of realizing that in order to become yourself, you may have to walk a path that some of the people you love can no longer walk with you. So we arrive at this painful truth, this quiet, heartbreaking divergence of paths. Let's name the feeling that comes with it, the feeling of outgrowing. It is a word that is heavy with guilt. Our minds immediately translate it to mean, I have become better than them, or I am leaving them behind. And a wave of shame washes over us, because these are the women you love, the ones who held your hand through divorces and celebrated your successes. The idea of leaving them feels like a betrayal. So let me be very clear. This is the most important reframe you will ever make. Outgrowing does not mean you have become better. It means you have become different. That is all. It means the soil of your soul now requires a different kind of sunlight, a different kind of water. And you cannot apologize for your own growth. That would be like an oak tree apologizing to a wildflower for needing more space to grow its roots. Both are beautiful. Both are valid. They simply belong to different landscapes now. The challenge is not how to stop growing. The challenge is how to honor the love that was while accepting the reality of what is. This does not require a dramatic confrontation. It does not require a painful conversation. It requires a quiet, internal practice, something I call honorable release. It is an act of spiritual hygiene, a way to clean the energetic cords so that love remains, but the painful expectation disappears. It is a 3-step process you can do in the quiet of your own heart. The first step is acknowledgement, gratitude. You bring a friend to mind, and instead of focusing on the distance now, you focus on the gifts she gave you then, the laughter, the support, the non-judgmental space she held for you. You let yourself feel the warmth of that gratitude. You say silently, "Thank you for what you were to me. It mattered, and it will always be a part of my story." The second step is acceptance. This is the honest part. You look at the reality of your connection now without judgment. You accept that your conversations feel different. You accept that your core values may have shifted. You accept that your paths have diverged. You say silently, "I accept that the season of our deep connection has passed." It does not diminish what was, it simply acknowledges what is.
And the third and most important step is the blessing, the release. You visualize your friend on her own path, and with all the love in your heart, you wish her well. You wish her joy and peace, and friendships that align with who she is becoming. You release her from the unspoken job of having to be your person anymore. And in doing so, you release yourself. Let's go back to Jessica. After the reunion, the feeling of guilt was overwhelming. One evening, she sat quietly and thought of her friends. She let herself remember the all-night study sessions, the weddings, the baby showers. She felt a genuine wave of love and gratitude. "Thank you," she whispered. Then she allowed herself to feel the truth of the last reunion, the stilted conversation, the feeling of wearing a mask. And she said to herself, "I accept that we are in different places now." It was a painful admission, but it was also a relief. Finally, she pictured them laughing on their own journeys, and she felt a sincere wish for their happiness. She released them. The next time a group text came through, something had changed. The pressure was gone. The guilt was gone. She could now see the friendship not as a failing obligation, but as a beautiful chapter in her life. She could love them for who they were in her past without needing them to be someone they weren't in her present. This is the freedom of honorable release. It is an act of profound self-compassion. It recognizes that some friendships are like scaffolding. They are absolutely essential to help you build the structure of your life. But once the building is strong enough to stand on its own, the scaffolding must be gently removed, so you can finally see the sky. But this raises a new and vital question. Once the scaffolding is gone and you are standing in this new open space, how do you furnish this new life? How do you move from honoring the past to cultivating the connections that will nourish your future? How do you find your soul circle?
So you have created space. You have honored the past, and now you stand in a quiet, open field. The temptation of the mind is to immediately try to fill it, to go out and find new friends, to treat connection like a project, another to-do list for an already exhausted woman. Let me invite you to a different path, a gentler one, a more powerful one. The secret to cultivating the connections your soul craves in the second half of life is this: you stop seeking and you start being. Let me repeat that. You stop seeking and you start being. It is not a hunt, it is a cultivation. You do not go out to find the right people. You become the gardener of your own inner world, and the right people are drawn to the unique fragrance of your garden. This is the shift from a social circle to a soul circle. A social circle is built on proximity and circumstance. Your neighbors, your colleagues, the other parents at school. It is a network. A soul circle is built on resonance, on a shared frequency. It is a sanctuary. A social circle can be large. A soul circle is often very small. Sometimes it is only one or two other people, and that is more than enough. So how did you become this gardener? I know what you are thinking. I don't have time. And you are right. You do not have time for another exhausting task, which is why these are not tasks. They are invitations. 3 gentle invitations to shift your energy from the outside in. The first invitation is, follow the breadcrumbs of your curiosity. Your persona was built on responsibility. Your true self is built on curiosity. What is that one small thing you have always wanted to do but told yourself you were too busy for? That pottery class, that lecture on ancient history,
that hours spent in a quiet bookstore with no goal at all. These are not selfish indulgences. These are sacred appointments with your own soul. You do not go there to meet people. You go there to meet yourself. And when you are in a space that genuinely lights you up, you emit a different energy, a quiet, authentic glow. And that glow is a lighthouse for other souls navigating by their own inner light. The second invitation is, dare to share your inner world. Persona friendships are built on talking about the what you did over the weekend, what your kids are up to, what's happening at work. Soul friendships are built on talking about the how that book made you feel, how you are wrestling with a difficult decision, how you are feeling about this strange new chapter of your life. The next time you are with a friend, old or new, I invite you to take one small risk. Instead of just reporting the events of your life, share one sentence about your inner experience of it. You will know instantly by their response if you are in the presence of a fellow traveler or just a friendly acquaintance. And both are okay, but only one will nourish your soul. And that leads to the third and most profound invitation. Become the friend you are looking for. Instead of waiting for someone to give you deep listening, offer it first. Instead of hoping someone will see you beyond your roles, ask them about the person they are behind theirs. If you crave non-judgment, practice it. If you crave authenticity, risk it. The energy you put out is the energy you will receive. You become the tuning fork, and those who are on your frequency will begin to resonate. They will find you. This is not a fast process. This is the slow, quiet, and beautiful work of a lifetime. It is about realizing that the deepest connection you will ever have is the one you are building with yourself. And from that place of inner wholeness, true friendship is not a desperate search. It is a joyful and inevitable echo.
We have traveled a long way together today, from the quiet loneliness in a crowded room to the sacred sanctuary of your own inner garden. We journeyed from the pain of feeling disconnected to the profound understanding of your soul's evolution, from the guilt of outgrowing to the freedom of an honorable release, from the exhaustion of seeking to the quiet power of simply being. The great lie of our culture is that a successful life is measured by the size of our social circle, but the truth of the soul is that a meaningful life is measured by the depth of our connections. The ultimate answer to the question that brought you here, why have my friendships become so complicated, is this: they are not complicated. You are becoming more beautifully and wonderfully complex. The complication is not a sign of failure. It is the undeniable evidence of your growth. The path to finding your people is not a map you follow. It is a frequency you emit. The goal was never to collect more friends. It was to become more fully and authentically yourself. Because the most magnetic force in the universe is a soul that is at home with itself. And so, our journey today ends with an invitation, not to do more, but to be more curious, to be more honest, to be the kind of friend you yourself are longing for. This is not a search for others, it is a return to yourself. If this journey has resonated with you, I invite you to declare your intention, to open the door of your own garden. In the comments below, as a quiet, courageous act of becoming, simply write the words, "I am open to authentic connection." Let the comment section become a testament to this new chapter, a space where we collectively affirm our desire for depth over distance. By writing it, you are sending a clear signal to the universe, and more importantly, to yourself.
Thank you for walking this path with me. But I must be honest. As we begin to find clarity in our friendships, we often discover that the most complex dynamics lie closer to home. If you want to continue this journey of understanding relationships, watch the next video in our series, where we will explore the invisible mental load that so many women carry in their partnerships. In that video, you will find the language to explain a burden you may not have even known you were carrying, and take the first step towards a more balanced connection. Until then, be the friend you wish to see in the world, and trust that your people are already on their way.